My property became a bright crime scene at 3:12 a.m. Floodlights burned, sirens screamed, and the deafening crash of police cruisers speeding down my gravel driveway broke the stillness. In a mere 90 seconds, 4 officers with guns drawn took cover behind their squad cars. Guns pointed at my recently installed steel gate. Behind the flames of a freshly clipped lock stood a woman wearing pink pajamas and fuzzy slippers, holding bolt cutters like a prize. It was Linda, the president of the HOA. Her face was a curious combination of shock and defiance as the red and blue lights cast shadows on her face. I saw it all happen on my security feed, coffee in hand, as an officer yelled at her to release the cutters. She did, as if they had gone red hot all of a sudden. No one believed she would go this far, but in retrospect, perhaps I should have. Just 2 days earlier, I'd reached my breaking point. Linda had already been warned by the county sheriff to stay off my property, but as HOA president, she insisted she had the right to inspect any structure she found questionable. My privacy gate, she claimed, violated an obscure, outdated HOA regulation. The truth? It simply blocked her view of my home. She would appear at least twice a week, banging on the gate and insisting she be let in, typically threatening unspecified repercussions. I kept explaining that the gate is on private property divided by an easement deeded for legal purposes and that the HOA has no authority here. But reason was no match for her clipboard-driven mission. My name is Ethan. I relocated to this countryside estate 6 months ago, hoping for serenity following a ghastly divorce and 20 years of big business. I constructed the house myself with some assistance from friends. In matters of security, particularly the gate, I did not spare any expense. My tech-savvy cousin Max, the owner of an industrial security firm, assisted me in installing a triple reinforced lock, several cameras, and a silent alarm that notified the authorities if someone attempted to tamper with it. It was all properly vetted by the state, and in light of Linda's ongoing harassment, absolutely warranted. The day I completed welding the gate, Linda appeared within minutes, complaining that I was quarantining the community, infringing on open boundary regulations, and making an eyesore. I showed her for the umpteenth time that the HOA had no jurisdiction here and that the gate had been sanctioned by zoning authorities. She poked a stick into the bars. I warned her unequivocally, harm my property again, and I would charge her. The following day, my mailbox was broken into and my trash can overthrown. I reacted by improving surveillance, visible cameras, motion-activated hidden cameras, and an alert system notifying the sheriff's department within seconds of tampering. GPS thermal imaging and video thumbnails were sent in real time. This was no longer about property. It was about safety. And then there was that night. At 3:10 a.m., my cameras filmed Linda hunched at the gate, bolt cutters in her hand, looking like she'd just gotten out of bed. She snipped the lock. As soon as the lock landed on the gravel, the system on the gate activated. Sirens blared, lights detonated, and police were alerted instantly. Linda didn't even get inside. 2 patrol units rerouted to my address, arriving just seconds later. As officers confronted her, Linda shouted, "This is a misunderstanding. I'm the HOA president." But authority didn't matter here. Law did. She was ordered to drop the bolt cutters and hesitated. A second officer stepped in and quickly detained her. I emerged outside once the scene was under control. Deputy Harris, who had experience with Linda, nodded at me knowingly. I informed him that everything had been on tape. Weeks of tape, numerous incidents. He nodded. "We've received complaints about her from others. This may finally put a stop to her." Linda was not arrested that evening, only detained, but the ramifications were already starting. My security system had recorded every minute in high-definition video with sound, infrared, and timestamps. I transferred all of it to a secure cloud, my hard drive, and a private server my brother kept. By morning, I forwarded the video to the HOA board, the county clerk's office, and my lawyer. My brother, a lawyer himself with a huge following, posted it on his site. The video, HOA president caught cutting gate at 3 a.m., went viral by noon. The public reaction was immediate and vicious. Posts jeered at Linda's temerity. One encapsulated the sentiment: she went to jail to measure his lawn height. She was released, but the repercussions had only just begun. The sheriff's office opened an investigation. My lawyer filed a restraining order, which was granted. Neighbors, some previously silent, began sharing their own stories. One even brought me cookies, saying, "We've been waiting for someone to stand up to her." But Linda didn't back down. The next morning at 9 a.m., she was outside on the street across from the house, holding a megaphone and screaming, "I was unfairly detained. See what you get when you give a man a gate and a God complex." I almost spit my coffee out laughing. The community, though, had turned on her. The HOA's online forum broke apart. Quiet residents who'd been holding their tongues for so long were now voicing opinions. Tom, who'd previously been fined for March Christmas lights, said, "Hope she enjoys her own medicine." Linda attempted to organize supporters by calling an unauthorized emergency HOA meeting in her front yard. Few attended, most being curious. When she waved around a screenshot of the viral video and labeled it slander, board member Sarah quashed her. "You violated the law, Linda. That gate is on private property. You were lucky not to get arrested." The crowd snickered. A teenager shouted, "What code? Anti-fence vibes?" Her credibility imploded. Sarah delivered an ultimatum: resign or risk being voted out. We served and filed the restraining order that week. Linda retaliated in a dramatic video tirade on social media, labeling me a tech tyrant. She went around publicly posting flyers with my picture as a cartooned villain. My lawyer laughed but said the content could be applied to a defamation suit. More neighbors came out. One offered to testify about the history of fines Linda had paid, such as one for having a hammock. She became more and more erratic, donning a body cam, accusing newer families of tech invasions, and labeling my gate as a symbol of class war. When she tried a second unauthorized visit to the community center, Sarah closed it down. The Invalid Key by Linda created another police response. She later made an absurd complaint, stating my gate employed weapons-grade electronics and my porch lights flashed in a militarized pattern. The sheriff's department called it the oddest affidavit they'd received all year. Next was the financial scandal. Sarah, in sifting through the HOA's online documents, found $12,000 in questionable reimbursements in Linda's name. The much-hyped tactical community improvements consisted of a yoga retreat to Sedona. Metadata on the digitally manipulated receipts exposed the deception. This was no longer mere misconduct. It was potential fraud. An audit was initiated. 3 days later, Linda sent out a frantic 7-page press release, accusing me of fabricating the footage and including a body cam photo of me labeled known agitator. I sent all my evidence to the County Fraud Division: footage, legal filings, emails, and copies of her erratic posts. By this time, Linda's house was a tourist destination. Folks slowed down to stare. She remained indoors, emerging in hoodies and shades. She later sued me for emotional distress and civic sabotage. The judge threw it out and advised her to hire an attorney. The HOA hosted a community forum and voted new regulations. Financial approvals would now need full board approval. A new stipulation was added: no unauthorized patrols. Sarah made it plain: Linda was not allowed future board membership. The audit revealed more: phony business reimbursements and efforts to reroute HOA mail to her house. At a hearing, Linda appeared on her own under the banner Madame President. and gave a nonsensical rant on betrayal and neighborhood spirit. My attorney readied the evidence in an unflustered manner. The case was dropped. At last, she was silent, but only briefly. Weeks afterward, my cameras picked up Linda stalking along my property line in the night with a tablet and sweeping my gate post. The system alerted. Officers came, caught her recording, and took her device. She said she had no idea there was a restraining order. She was charged with misdemeanor trespassing and harassment. The video, which had the tongue-in-cheek title, Hoax President's Failed Comeback, went viral once more. Later that day, her home was listed for sale under a third-party name. The moving day, she slunk around, pointing directions for movers in silence. She slipped away quietly, no parting showdown, no showy gesture. The neighborhood relaxed. Mailboxes were social again. Children played more boisterously. The HOA put on a tranquil barbecue. Sarah said thank you to everybody. Somebody said I should become the HOA historian. I cracked a smile and respectfully declined.